What's up, guys? So just want to make a short little video. This is something that was a concern to me early on in my fitness career, and from what I understand it's a concern to many of you, and that's how do you work on your pull-ups if you don't have anything to pull up on? You know, let's assume you don't have anything reasonably heavy enough to provide a weight stimulus for any kind of pulling motion, because really what you're talking about is working your pulling movement pattern. We're not talking about one exercise, we're talking about building the strength of your pulling muscles. Now there are lots of ways to work pulling, and of course the one that's hardest for people is the pull-up. Now we've discussed previously how to rotate, contract and depress your scapula. Kind of puffs your chest out a little bit, draws your shoulders back, really locks the whole system into the musculature so you're not putting the stress on the joints, and on top of that you will be recruiting far more muscle fibers and making the exercise more functional and more useful and will help you grow more. But once again, what if you currently can't do pull-ups, whether it is a physical restriction or an environmental restriction? I'm going to give you a very quick and simple way to do it. All you need, technically you could do this without a prop, but I'm going to show you how to do it with a prop because giving a prop helps you establish the pattern just a little better. So all you need is something long and straight, and I mean it could even be something soft and limp like a towel, or my preference is you can use Mosin Nagant, riot baton, broom, Vulcan, or a simple piece of PVC. There's a number of things. You could probably use a towel. If you have them, you can use the therapy bands, the elastic bands. Those work quite nicely for this and add a more dynamic style of attention. We're going to do an isometric exercise. So all I want you to do is you're going to take the bar, I'm going to step back a little bit, take the bar, raise it overhead as normal and evenly as you can, get a good solid grip on it, nice proper overhand grip, thumbs tucked and like, I don't mean tucked, but thumbs wrapped. Now I want you to go ahead, bring your scapula back. Now I want you to start pulling, just like you're pulling down in a bar. Now I want you to really focus on the squeeze in the lats and the mid-back. Bring it right down to your chest. It doesn't have to touch your chest. In fact, I would say don't let it touch your chest. I'm also pulling outward. So pulling outward and squeezing and depressing the scapula, pinching the mid-back, and really using my lats to draw it down. Hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. You can go upwards of 30 seconds. Give yourself a break. Remember, the more you squeeze and the more you focus on the muscles, just like a dynamic exercise, the less time you're going to be able to do it at a given stretch. If you can do it for longer than, say, 30 seconds, you are probably not putting enough force into it. Your isometric contraction can be as hard as you want it to be. Isometrics are incredibly powerful, and while they do not encompass the entire gamut of exercise, and will certainly not bring you everywhere you need to go within your fitness, they are an important part of your fitness and something that you can do anywhere, because remember, wherever you go, you always have you. If there's nothing else to work against, you always have you. So at the very least, I was going to say you always have the earth too, but if you're an astronaut, you probably don't. So, of course, if you're an astronaut, what the fuck are you doing watching my YouTube channel? But there you have it. Simple isometric exercise that will mimic the muscle groupings and use for a pull-up. And if you are currently incapable of doing pull-ups, working that motion and even working the drawing down will help you develop your pull-ups. Once you can do one pull-up, then, provided you don't have an environmental restriction, start using the pull-ups. If you can only do one, that's great. Use a power type routine. Do one as hard and explosively as you can, give yourself some rest. Then do one more as hard and explosively as you can, and then give yourself some rest. You know, it's an excellent way to do that. You know, work up to doubles and triples. Once you start getting 4s and 5s, you can start reducing the rest periods. You know, then once you get much past 5, you need to really start moving on to more complex issues. But that's another story for another time, and I got to get going, so talk to you later. Good journey.